Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Is this the biggest fight in the sport of boxing? What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, so Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Today is the press conference. I believe today is the first press conference. Tomorrow is the second press conference. They just secured the venue. There was something going on with the venue, but I believe they secured the venue, and the fight is a go, man. They're going to get it on. These two guys are going to give the sport of boxing its first super fight of 2023. Now, the question is this the biggest fight in the sport of boxing? Are there any other fights out there that would top this fight, or maybe even do better numbers, than this fight? Could this fight possibly rival the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight? Could this fight be bigger than what Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and Canelo Alvarez and all these other fighters have been able to accomplish over the past few years? Is Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis the two biggest names within the sport? I think that's a pretty good question. I was reading an article, and the article was basically saying that they think that this is the biggest fight within the sport, and that these are the two biggest superstars. And some of the reasons that they gave for why they feel like these are the two biggest superstars, I would agree with a little bit and disagree with a little bit. They were basically saying, well, Gervonta Davis is a big star or a huge star in the sport because of his ties with hip-hop. He's a guy who loves hip-hop. He's in the hip-hop culture. He's got a lot of rappers and hip-hop fans following him on his social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And that those superstars, that are, rich people who like the sport of boxing basically follow him and Ryan. But a lot of the hip-hop culture follows Gervonta Davis. Now, do I feel like, well, because he has rappers and rapping fans following him, that makes him the biggest star within the sport of boxing? I don't think so. I don't even think that hip-hop really plays that much of a role in Gervonta Davis being a superstar within the sport of boxing. I think Gervonta Davis just has the it factor. He gets in the ring, he does flips, he's knocking dudes straight out. He's very entertaining to watch. His fights are not boring. He's pretty entertaining with his interviews and stuff. He don't hold words. He's a straight shooter. So I think it's a combination of everything when it comes to Gervonta Davis. I think Gervonta just has the it factor. He's got that wow factor, and people will tune in for the wow factor. There was someone who tweeted something about Gervonta Davis and Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. And I think Davis actually replied to him. The tweet was basically saying that Floyd Mayweather isn't a bigger superstar in the sport of boxing because of his 50-0 record than Manny Pacquiao, who spanned 8 divisions. And Gervonta Davis basically came back and clowned the guy. Even though he's not with Mayweather anymore, you can tell that he still has some type of love for Mayweather just by his response. And, to be honest, I don't even think it matters anymore which one of those two guys are better, because we're never going to get that rematch, and we pretty much know why at this point. But when you think about a guy like Gervonta Davis, you gotta say that, yeah, I think he's one of the biggest superstars in the sport, and I think this fight is going to be one of the biggest fights. When it comes to Ryan, and his status on Instagram is solidified. He's one of the biggest Instagram stars in the world. I don't think there's too many other people with as many followers as he has. And the article was basically saying about Ryan, why they feel like Ryan will be the second half of the biggest fight in the sport, is because he brings in that Instagram crowd. He brings in that pop culture crowd. People who like Rihanna, like Ryan Garcia. People who like Justin Bieber and follow Justin Bieber, they follow Ryan Garcia. And I would have to agree there. I think that's one of the biggest things that's drawing people into this fight is the fact that you do have a superstar, world-renowned boxer like Gervonta Davis, very well known for knocking people out. And then you have a guy like Ryan, is a good boxer, has great boxing skills, became famous for the stuff he was doing with the reflex bag on Instagram. And, he brings in a huge female audience because, females think he's cute or whatever. So, you would have to say that, yeah, he's one of the biggest stars based off his following. It's all based off of people tuning in to watch your fights and people paying for your fights. So I would have to agree that this is one of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing. Where I have to say I don't agree is I don't think it's gonna outdo like the Maypac fight. I don't think it's gonna outdo probably the Wilder fight. I think it's gonna do some real good numbers, but because of everything that's going on in the world, because of the state of boxing, I don't think it's gonna hit that 1 million buy. I think it'll probably be up under that. It might go over 500, but I'm a little skeptical about the 1 million just because there's so much going on in the world. And I think this fight is going to set the precedent for someone else hitting that million pay-per-view buy. They were saying in the article that this fight even tops the Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight, which I can't agree with either. They were saying that this fight is bigger because Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they don't have the same type of audiences. Now, I would say that Errol Spence has a huge audience and pretty much runs the state of Texas. Terrence Crawford runs the state of Nebraska and has a huge following, but I don't think Terrence Crawford's following is as big as a Ryan Garcia. I don't think Errol Spence is as big as a Ryan Garcia. But I think in the boxing world that those guys are respected, and you might as well say they're bigger stars within the boxing world than Gervonta and Ryan. So I don't think that the Ryan Garcia-Gervonta fight is going to do as big as numbers as the Terrence Crawford-Errol Spence fight is going to do when it finally happens. But I think they're going to set some new precedents and get boxing back to where it needs to be to start selling fights again. I definitely see that in the future. They might not hit 1 million, but 600,000 or 500,000 would be a step in the right direction for boxing and both of those guys. So it might be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing for today. It might not do the biggest numbers, but I think for today's times and how boxing is today, this will most likely be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. And then you'll probably have the Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight trump that whenever it takes place. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collab, hit my Gmail, flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are Manny.
Okay, I'm too high for words, too fly for birds. Telling mother pigeons, get to rock, kick, you're not listening. Baby, stop tripping. They ain't on your level. What part of that are you missing? Look, I just wanna put the cuffs on you. Take you to the room, put the cuffs on you. I just wanna lick on you, touch on you. Keep talking that shit and I'ma bust on you. You know I got it like that though. Take her to the movies and go down in the back row. Shitting on them bitches, why you clown them like that for? She know she got it like that, so that's my baby.
Oh my. Make me feel so right. Come and stay the night.
little things you do. Must I remind you that I respect you?